Well, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you taking some time today to chat with us and about connecting the field to the office. This is Brian Cool with RedTeam Software. I happen to be the VP of Sales here, and we're really excited to have this opportunity to spend time with you today. Our presenter is going to be Anthony Beck. He's one of our product experts, also on the sales team. Happy to guide you through some thoughts around our FieldShare application and connecting the field. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Anthony, for the presentation.
Thank you, Brian, for the introduction. So as Brian had mentioned, today we're going to be talking a little bit about connecting the field and the office with RedTeam's FieldShare application and how capturing data in real time and having access to the right information at the right time can impact your efficiencies. So before we get started on that topic, I'd like to take a moment to share a little bit about RedTeam. At RedTeam, with our platform, we help commercial general contractors collaborate with all the team members associated to the project, your subs, architects, the owner, all while giving you tight control over documentation and real-time access to the information you need from any mobile device or computer wherever you are. You may see RedTeam as just a software company. However, we are rooted in being construction professionals. We had developed the software to help manage our own projects before branching off as RedTeam to provide a solution to general contractors from coast to coast. Mike Wright, our founder, and many of our team members take upon their own experience as well as the experiences shared by our hundreds of customers across the United States and Canada to provide a solution to help you manage your projects. With that being said, RedTeam is a robust product, scope of the system ranging from business development to pre-construction and expanding into project management, financials, through to the close of the project. And each project having plan room accessibility for your subs, vendors, having mobile tools for your field team, which we'll talk about in this webinar, as well as tools for your subcontractors. So as I mentioned, a lot of functionality in the system. If you'd like to learn more about the complete solution and see how it can fit for your business, please visit our website, sign up for a demo. We'd love to learn more about your company and have a more in-depth discussion there. So when it comes to the nature of the job, managing projects throughout the different processes, we look at all these areas in regards to the contract. So in RedTeam, we've taken a very contract-centric approach to the creation of our workflows. In this instance, let's focus in on the critical component of field management, making sure that your teams are completing the work they're contractually obligated to do. So when managing your projects out in the field, as we all know, there are a lot of moving parts. Coordinating the project team, let's say as a superintendent, making sure the subs are on site, on doing their work on time, according to schedule. You're coordinating meetings, managing checklists and punch lists, assigning tasks, and tracking progress along the way. And all the while having to be adaptive to when changes occur or when bad weather comes to play. So for example, RedTeam, we're based out of Orlando, and with hurricane season, it usually rains in the middle of the day for a couple of hours, almost every day. So that's something that can cause delays. And all of those things and more that I could list are things that can complicate the job. So some critical components to managing all of these is one, having strong communication between all of the team members, having timely access to the right information at the right time, and being able to capture data throughout the day that's accessible at any time so that a PM can know what's going on in the job site, even when they aren't there, when they're in the office or working from home. Now, from those, let's talk about the challenges your team may face. And from our experience talking with contractors, here are some of the most prevalent challenges they've faced out in the field. Number one, maintaining that effective communication between all parties in the life cycle of the job. Let's say between the superintendent and the vendors, or the project manager to the owner. Now, the second largest challenge is having that real-time information on the job. If your field team is running things manually through text, spreadsheets, or other means, for the most part, that information isn't compiled together into one place until the end of the day, if that. So if you're a project manager working from home for the day, it's hard for you to know exactly what's going on at the job site. And if you're managing multiple jobs, it gets even more difficult for you to do your job. So lastly, information being left out, that's another big area that contractors have challenges with. And I've talked with quite a few contractors who didn't have a platform before or a mobile app to help them with capturing that information. And they've had the issue where at the end of the day, they've written down some of the things, or they haven't written down some of the things when it comes to filling out the dailies, they're either leaving a section blank or making a complete guess at what it was that happened. Well, I remember the electrician was out on site, he did X, Y, and Z, but I can't remember how many hours he was there for. And so they're either leaving that blank or putting in, okay, maybe they were there for 4 hours. So just things like that. And so all of these can contribute to delaying the project, adding risk, and costing you money at the end of the day. Now, we understand that no matter what, there's always going to be gaps in those areas. And the important thing is for you to be able to close those gaps as much as possible, whether that's with a more formalized process that you've established or using a platform, a mobile application like RedTeam FieldShare. So now let's talk about the Field app itself that we provide, RedTeam FieldShare, and some of the goals that we had when originally creating the Field app. I'd like to note that you can have the best financial management tools, project management tools for your employees out in the office, but if you don't have a platform to help your employees out in the field in tandem with those solutions, you're still accepting a fair amount of risk on your projects, as mentioned during the previous slides. So to combat those issues and challenges we talked about, we developed FieldShare as a platform that, one, provides you access to timely information about what's going on with the job from anywhere, all in your smartphone in a centralized platform. Two, that allows for user-friendly input of data so that your supers, let's say, can note observations on the fly that automatically get compiled into a daily report. And three, ultimately, we wanted to eliminate as much paperwork as possible because at the end of the day, everyone hates paperwork out in the field. So the goal was to take out that headache. And those are some of the ways at a high level, the benefits of what RedTeam helps accomplish for your team, providing a better avenue for connecting the field and the office. So let's dive into the next few slides about some of the functionalities behind RedTeam. So to begin, when it comes to the question of how we allow for the access of timely information, RedTeam is a cloud application. So once information is captured, it's automatically accessible to those who log in from anywhere, in this instance, smartphone and tablets, wherever they are at any time. And some of the very first information that you'll have available to you right from your phone, one, you've got the job location, so you know exactly where you need to go. You have the weather, so that if you're starting out your day, you see that it's thunderstorming at the site, you're more prepared for what to expect, as well as having the contact information of all team members on the job. So let's say the electrician hasn't shown up yet for the day, and you're anticipating him to get his work done so that tomorrow you can start putting up the drywall. Well, you don't have to look for or waste time searching for his phone number because you already have his phone number in a list that you can click and call right from the app. So with that, you could have just saved yourself 15 minutes trying to find that information. As we know, a lot of wasted time on the job is looking for information, looking for different things. So, and if you take into account all of those things, it happens a lot more frequently than you think, so it can add up. So with FieldShare, we're looking to eliminate as much inefficiencies as possible with that. And expanding from that, you'll also have available to you the most current list of plans, noted versions. There's very detailed version tracking in RedTeam, and you'll even be able to see the potential new plans tied to those potential scope changes. So you can look at those and be prepared for when those become authorized. On top of that, seeing the most up-to-date schedule. Let's say the electrician didn't show up that day, and now it's looking like you're going to start the drywall on Monday instead, now because of that. So when the PM makes a schedule update, it's going to be synced into the mobile app that you have accessible while out in the field. And same with lists of submittals, you can view them from the mobile. Those will be synced up. You can see what's been approved, rejected, and have access to the documentation behind those. Now, inputting information into RedTeam, it's not the tedious task that you've probably had to face with doing things manually. You have simple workflows you can use, as well as speech to texts. Photos can be captured directly through the app to create many things like RFIs, progress photos, expenses, and checklist and punch list items. So if you need to alert the PM of a change event, like for example, you can create an RFI right from the app with the information that you can send over to them and get a response to it. So if you've been, and then throughout the course of the job, you can take photos throughout the day. The PM can log into the system, see in real time what's been updated onto that daily report, know exactly what's going on. And let's say that today it starts raining, you're stuck in the trailer. It's very easy for you to click into the observations, add in that there's been a 30-minute, 1-hour delay because of the rain. That also pushes onto the daily right then and there so that you don't have to do it later on at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to employees logging time and expenses, one of the major pitfalls of doing things manually, I've had accounting teams talk about their frustration with receiving timesheets, with missing job codes, expenses not associated with the right cost codes, and that makes it difficult for them to do their job. So with FieldShare, when you're logging your time on the job, it'll ask you to log it to a labor authorization, which ties it directly to the budget, the cost code item, to the right job, and it gets job costed correctly. And all you did were a few simple clicks, and this is also building your weekly timesheet as well, all from the app. And similarly with logging your expenses through the application, FieldShare, if you were to go to Home Depot, for example, buy some materials, or maybe you went to a gas station, filled up the truck with the company credit card, through the app, you could take a picture of the receipt on the spot, log it as an expense made with the company credit card, and get that job costed in the system. So when the PM goes into the budget, they can see that you have that you've made that expense. So it's a very intuitive, very powerful tool. And the last area I'd like to note is that you can fully manage your checklist in RedTeam. Let's say for the punch list, you're able to filter by location. We also take upon QR technology in case you're running a multifamily job where you've got a QR code per each floor. You can scan into the different locations, manage the punch items for those, take the before and after photos for them, assign them to different project team members. And once marked as completed, you have another step for the verification of whether or not you're approving that as complete or rejecting it to be redone. And let's say when you're assigning a sub, for example, to complete a checklist item, they will receive an email notification and you can track the metadata on the back end for that. So through all of those items, we've helped eliminate the need for paperwork. The data is accessible digitally on FieldShare, and information is seamlessly compiled onto your daily reports, which ultimately leads to the goal of what FieldShare is, and that's to help make sure at the end of the day, you don't have to spend the extra time sitting in the trailer, compiling everything together, collating it. You've already captured the information throughout the day. So you can have the peace of mind to go home, make it home for dinner, to spend quality time with your family. And with that, Brian, would you have anything to add from what I've talked about with throughout the FieldShare webinar?
Not necessarily at this time. I think you adequately covered everything that we do with it. I would say that I agree with you in that the need, for a tool like this or something similar to it greatly improves the communication between the field and the office, and often can be seen as a secondary thought process, right? We always
Yeah.
focus on buying that the best in class financials and ways to manage the contracts, etc. But it often makes the field feel a little bit left out.
Yeah.
And without that data, we just don't have a way to make in real time as possible decisions to keep the project on time, right?
Exactly. So just having everybody connected in one place, and having, let's say, the project managers, the admins, they have their systems in place. Well, it's just as important for the field team to have that as well. Okay. Well, are there any other topics that you'd like to discuss or discuss about the managing field processes?
And not at this time. I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate everyone that has joined in for this webinar. And as far as the demonstration goes, if you guys have any questions, feel free to visit our website, reach out to our team, sign up for demos if you have any questions or would like to talk further about how RedTeam may fit for your company. And I will be looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video next Wednesday.